welcome back to my channel. We're here today to chat a little bit about Middle Grade March. That's the initiative hosted by Krista over at Books and Jams all month long. The goal is to read books that were written for middle grade audience. But you know, you don't have to be a middle grade aged child to read and enjoy these books, because for some of us, we read these books as children, and reading them now as adults or rereading them as adults give us all the nostalgia, all the feels. But even the new books, like, they appeal to us because they're just, a lot of those stories are just so inventive and so immersive. And yeah, I don't think I've ever read a middle grade book that I didn't thoroughly enjoy. I've read books for adults that I didn't like. So seems like, you know, you pick up a middle grade book, you're pretty sure to have a fantastic reading experience. So I'm all about that. So Krista asked me to participate in the readathon by making a recommendation. So I sent her a recommendation. So I'll play the video for you now so you can see what I said and the book that I recommended. So cut to that. Hi friends, I'm Karen and my channel is RunwrightReads, and I was so excited that Krista invited me to share a book recommendation with you for Middle Grade March. It's one of my favorite activities to participate in every year because I read a lot of different kinds of books, but I always come back to some of my favorites, which are books written for children and books that celebrate Caribbean culture. I'm from Jamaica and I have a daughter now who I want to raise to understand and appreciate her Caribbean heritage. So I love finding books that allow me to mix those, and Josephine Against the Sea by Shakira Bourne does exactly that. This book is about a girl who is afraid that she is losing her father to his new relationship, and so she tries to connect with him over their shared love for sports. But she also wants to play on the cricket team, and if you're familiar with some of those cultures, sports like cricket is traditionally a men's game. So we have Josephine having to overcome the prejudice and the misogyny of being told that she can't do something just because she's a girl. So we have that. We also have the element of parent-child relationship and a little bit of magical realism, magical inclusions, because one of the characters in here may or may not be a witch / mermaid. So read this book and thank me later. Josephine Against the Sea by Shakira Bourne. Hope you enjoy it. So, I recommended Josephine by the Sea by Shakira Bourne because we read it in the RunwrightReads book club last year and I loved it, and I want more people to read it. And it's also a book that came out pretty recently. So the challenge for Middle Grade March this year, there are 5 challenges, and you can read, you know, whatever books you want to. You don't have to meet the prompts. You could just read anything. But here are the 5 challenges. One is to read a book that is sci-fi or dystopian. One is to read a book that has a neurodivergent character. Another is to read a book that has sea or sky on the cover. And Josephine Against the Sea fulfills that prompt. Prompt number 4 is a book that was written in the last year. And the last one is to read a book that won an award other than the Newbery Medal. So the Newbery Medal, you know, is given to books, middle grade books. So what I do every time there is a challenge that I want to give myself is I went to the library. So I don't read book synopses. So I picked up some books at the library, gave myself some options. I'm probably not going to read all of these books now. Okay. Glare. So I'm probably not going to read all of these books, but I went to the library and we'll talk about that in another video, how many books I have out from the library. But I gave myself some options. So I'm not necessarily calling this my stack of middle grade books that I'm going to read this month, but these are some options. Some of these are books that I have wanted to read. One of these is a book that I want to reread. So we'll start there. First book that I want to, this is a reread for me. This is Farmer Boy by Laura Ingalls Wilder. This is about Alamanza Wilder growing up in upstate New York. And I read this last year, but I read it a little fast, so I want to reread it. Just some things in here that came up in conversation I want to discuss. So I'm going to be rereading this. And I may not reread the whole thing, but I got it back from the library because I wanted to just revisit this story just for a bit. So got that. Pretty sure I'll reread that this month. And then I started reading this. This is Roald Dahl's James and the Giant Peach, illustrated by Quentin Blake. I love these illustrations. Like, they're so cool. And like, I started reading this yesterday. So we're reading about a little boy who is he loses his parents and he goes to stay with two aunts, and they are completely abusive and dismissive of him. And then things change when this giant peach comes into his life. So I'm really interested in the story. Matilda, I read Roald Dahl's Matilda earlier this year, and it has some of the same themes in here. You know, kids changing the world for themselves. So love that. I also got another book by Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So 3 books by Roald Dahl that I'm planning to read this year. That will be fantastic. You know, I do a lot of book lists, as you guys know. Today is Book List Thursday, right? So maybe this could be our Book List Thursday video. Let me know which of these books you've read. So far, I'm batting 1 because I've read Farmer Boy, but it's on my TBR again. So yeah, let's see how many of these books you've read. So the next book is Ghost by Jason Reynolds. This was a finalist for the National Book Award, so this would possibly meet the prompt for a book that won an award other than the Newbery Medal. Since this was nominated for the National Book Award, no, it didn't win, so technically it's not completely for that challenge, but it doesn't matter. I want to read a book by Jason Reynolds, so I picked this. This is the first in a 4-book series about kids who are... Oh, okay, so it says Ghost is the first of 4 books in Jason Reynolds' explosive track series about a fast but fiery group of kids who have a shot at the Junior Olympics, but they have a lot to prove first to one another and to themselves. So definitely want to read that. Number the Stars by Lloyd Laurie. I read The Giver a long time ago, looking at maybe 12 years ago or so, and I'd like to read more from the author. So this one is not related to The Giver at all. This is about German troops beginning their campaign to relocate all the Jews of Denmark, and a family takes in a little girl. So this is a Newbery Medal winner. This is another Newbery Medal winner. Bridge to Terabithia, is that how you pronounce that? By Catherine Patterson. And a lot of these are really short books, so hopefully I'll be able to get through all of these. Then continuing with the series, Chronicles of Narnia series, you know, I started reading last year. I got this in, I think, in December, and I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I think this is the book that I should read after it. Yeah, because it's numbered 3 in the series, but I didn't start with the prequel, I guess. So this is the book that logically comes after The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I got this from the library, and this is the illustrated edition with full color pictures, so very excited about that. Wander by R.J. Palacio I found at the library, and I picked it up because I've seen this book on a lot of lists as well. And I remember when this book was first released, and I thought about reading it but didn't, and then just in the years since I've heard a lot of good things about the book, and just I haven't read it, so I'd like to correct that this month. So Wander by R.J. Palacio is also on my list, and then here are some titles that I don't know anything about, but I saw them and so they looked interesting. This one is Like Vanessa by Tammy Charles. I think this is about Vanessa Williams, who was the first black woman to win Miss America. Was that how that worked? And so it's blurbed by Vanessa Williams, inspiring to a new generation of young, talented girls. Yeah, it's about a girl named Vanessa who thinks that she would like to be a beauty queen as well. So would love to read this. We'll see if that happens. And Ahmed Aziz's Epic Year. Can Ahmed Fake It Until He Makes It by Nina Hamza. Ahmed Aziz is having an epic year, epically bad. His family moved from Hawaii to Minnesota when his dad got sick. Even though it's where his dad grew up, Ahmed couldn't imagine a more terrible place to live. Not that anyone asked him. Being the new kid is tough, especially because Ahmed is the only brown-skinned student in a sea of white. So, you know, I don't know what else is going to happen there, but yeah. Then we have Hurricane Child by Kaysen Callender, which won 2 awards other than Newbery. It won the Stonewall Book Award and the Lambda Literary Awards. That's pretty cool. And it has the sea or body of water on the cover. So we'll definitely meet that prompt. And Kaysen Callender, I think, is a Caribbean author. I'm not wrong about that, am I? Case and Calendar, I think, is from, is it U.S. Virgin Islands? Let's check that out. Yep. Born and raised on St. Thomas of the U.S. Virgin Islands, Case and Calendar holds a BA from Sarah Lawrence College, where they studied fine arts, Japanese, and creative writing. So Case and Calendar is also a non-binary person. So yeah, looking forward to reading some of these books in March. Let me know if you're joining in for middle grade March as well, and what middle grade books you're going to pick up. Let me know in the comments down below which middle grade book you would choose or are choosing if you're participating in middle grade March. So which book will you start with? So let's chat down there, and until we come back for another video, happy reading. Bye.